We are, instead of just graphing the inequalities, we're actually going to solve these inequalities. And you solve an inequality the exact same way that you would solve an equation, doing those opposite operations. So going back to what we did on that first quiz, you're going to solve these the exact same way. Now, the only issue that's going to come up is when you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So if there is a negative number attached to your variable, you have to do something special when you're solving. So when you end up having to multiply or divide by a negative number in your inequality, you must flip the inequality. If you forget to flip the inequality, the whole entire problem is wrong. So that's the main thing that we're going to be you're going to hear me talk you through today. You're going to probably get annoyed with me saying, are you multiplying or dividing by a negative number? Like it has to be the number that is attached to the variable. It'll be obvious because you'll hear me say it. And then hopefully when I let you loose today, it'll become second nature. So main thing, the only difference with solving these inequalities is that when you have to multiply or divide by a negative, you've got to take your less than and flip it to a greater than. Now, if there's an equal to, it keeps the equal to, but the less than would become a greater than, or the greater than would become a less than, which will make a difference when we have to actually graph them. Okay, so let me show you how these are how they're done. So number one here, we have negative 3x is less than 9. So if I had to solve for x, what would you do?
Oh my gosh. Solve for x if you do that.
Yep, solve for x. What would you do? We have numbers now, so we're not minus 9. You would divide by, because these two terms are smushed together, so it's multiplication. So you would divide by what? Okay, so do you see how you said divide by negative 3? Since we are dividing by negative 3, you have to flip your inequality. We divided by a negative right here. It's on the bottom. We divided by negative 3, so the less than becomes a greater than. This cancels. We have x now is greater than. What's 9 divided by negative 3? Negative 3. So our solution is any x value that's greater than negative 3. So now we have to graph it. Graphing is what we did yesterday. So I go to my number line at negative 3. Do I put an open or a closed circle? Open. And then do I shade to the left or to the right? Where are the x values that are greater than negative 3? To the right. And that's it. Well, that's one of them. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, let's take a look at number 2. 4x plus 7 is less than 23. Okay, if I had to solve this, I'm solving for x. What would I do first? Subtract 7. Did I divide by a negative? Multiply by a negative? No. So then I have 4x is less than 23 minus 7 is 16. Last step to get x by itself is to do what? Divide by 4. I'm dividing by a positive 4. So do I flip my inequality? No. So leave it as less than. So we have x is less than. What's 16 divided by 4? 4. So there's your answer. Now, the solutions, there's actually a ton of solutions because the solutions would be any x value that's less than 4. So now we need to graph it on our number line. Go to 4. Open or close circle? Open. Do I draw my line to the left or to the right?
Left.
To the left. To the left, to the left. No. No. Sorry. Every year. It happens every year. Ever since that song had come out. Any questions on those two? All right, next. Oh, fractions.
Oh, great.
It's okay. Fractions aren't bad. We know how to handle fractions. So for number 3, negative 3/4 x is greater than 9. So I have a fraction. I don't want to deal with fractions, so can I get rid of fractions? Find a common denominator. So this is the same as 9/1. This has a denominator of 4. This has a denominator of 1. So what's my common denominator? 4. So I'm going to multiply the right side, top and bottom, by 4. And I get negative 3/4 x greater than 36/4. And then magically, the denominators go away. And you're left with negative 3x is greater than 36. That's not new. We've done that already. I'm impressed that we all remembered some. Okay, now what do I do? I can't graph it yet because I don't have x by itself. Go ahead, Atreyu. Okay, divide by negative 3. Do I flip my inequality or leave it alone? Flip it, because you said divide by negative 3. So we flip the inequality because we're dividing by a negative. 36 divided by negative 3 is negative 12. Okay. So now we have our first number line where they didn't give you numbers. This is kind of best case scenario because you don't have to really put all of the numbers. So when they give you a number line without numbers, or when you're creating your own number line, which you will have to do today, take your number, put it in the middle of your number line, and do maybe a couple of values less than negative 12 and a couple of values greater than negative 12. Now, this is where you need to be careful because this is a negative. So what is a number that is less than negative 12? Negative 13. It's negative, I know. And then this would be negative 14. And then greater than negative 12 would be like negative 11 and negative 10. And you really, as long as you do even one on each side, that's totally fine. You cannot just put the negative 12 in the middle. I want to see at least a couple of other points or numbers on each side. So then on the negative 12, open or close circle? Open. And then does it go to the left or to the right? To the left. Sorry. I'll stop. I can't wait for you guys to take your quiz and just think of that every time. Yes, ma'am.
I put negative 13, negative 14 on the right.
You can't, though. Negative 13, negative 14, or anything going to the right is getting bigger or closer to 0. Think about so it has to go on the left. Less than is to the left, greater than is to the right. Yes.
So if x is less than 12,
Negative 12.
Going the other way because it's going higher.
Nope. If x is less than negative 12, that means the x values that are less than negative 12 are true. So what values are less? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard you say oh. Okay, I want you to try number 4 on your own. Try number 4. And then we'll do 5 and 6. Try number 4, and then just for fun, try number 5, and I want to see if you can do number 5 on your own too. 4 and 5. Try those ones on your own. Please and thank you. All right, let's start with number 4. So for number 4, you should have added 1.4 to both sides. So I'm adding 1.4 so I don't have to worry about flipping my inequality. So then I have 0.5x is less than negative 6.9 plus 1.4 is negative 5.5. Then to solve for x, I would divide by 0.5. This 0.5 is positive. So since I'm dividing by 0.5, I'm not dividing by a negative, leave your inequality alone, and you get x is less than negative 11. This number right here is negative, but what number you're dividing by, you would say if you're solving this, divide by 0.5. You didn't say negative 0.5. Divide by 0.5. That's why you don't flip it. So then I'll put this as negative 11. A number less than negative 11 is negative 12. A number bigger than negative 11 or closer to 0 is negative 10. Open circle at negative 11, going to the left. Any questions? What'd you do? You good? You promise? Okay. How many of you had that? Okay, cool. Next one, number 5, I added an extra step to this one. What did you have to do first on number 5? What's the technical term? Distribute. There's the mathy term. So you have to distribute by -2 first. So -2 times 5 is -10. -2 times -3x is a positive 6x, greater than 26. Then what do? Add 10. Add 10. We're adding 10, so you are not dividing by a negative, so leave your inequality alone. So you get 6x is greater than 36. And then you divide by the number in front of your variable. And when you divide by 6, it's a positive 6, so you leave your inequality alone. And you get x is greater than 6. So then you create your number line. Put 6 in the middle. Go a couple above if you want, a couple below. Then you graph it. So I go to my 6. It's just a greater than, so open circle. And this one should go to the right because the numbers that are greater than 6 are to the right of 6. Any questions on that one? How many of you had that one right? You guys awake today? Woo! Okay. Last one, just because this is a combining like terms, you still do the same thing. I feel like you guys are bored today. You're a little bored because you know how to do this already? Or you're bored because this is not that hard? Or we're just bored because we're bored? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll hurry and get you your assignments to not make you bored. Okay, so on the left-hand side of my inequality here, I do have some terms that I can combine together. When you combine like terms, you use the signs that they have. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Bring down the plus 7. Bring down the less than or equal to. Bring down the negative 11. So then to solve, you solve this just now as you've done all the rest of them. Subtract 7. I'm not multiplying or dividing by a negative, so leave the inequality alone. 2x less than or equal to negative 11 minus 7 is negative 18. Then to solve for x, you divide by 2. It's a positive 2. Leave your inequality alone. X is less than or equal to negative 9. Ooh, there's a lot of negative answers on this one, which makes it hard for those number lines. Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so negative 9 goes in the middle. 1 less than negative 9 is negative 10. 1 bigger than negative 9 is negative 8 because bigger means it's getting closer to 0. Then I go to negative 9. I see that this is my inequality, less than or equal to. So do you have an open or a closed circle? Closed. I think it's the first one of the notes. Closed, and then to the left or to the right? To the left. What do you think? Any questions? Anything that you can think of that was confusing? Or is it not too bad? We'll find out here in a minute. Okay.